Greetings, everyone. This is me again, Zahra Bazak, to always remind you that Islam is a false religion, to leave it as soon as possible and decide for yourself and research for yourself. After I show you, and I've been showing you the way that I've been showing you, you can take that way or you can take your own way. So, it would be made easy for you to leave Islam rather than go to ulamas, religious scholars, Muslim Islamic religious scholars. Hope you can hear me here. So I'm again on Islamic religious scholars. Okay, now I'm again on this ayat also, the ayats on killing children, their own children actually. Surah Anam verse 137 and 140, killing their children. And also from the previous live stream, I left off from Fatima bint Asad. Sorry, just having my tea also. Fatima bint Asad, how she adopted and made Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad, her son, right? Which is not actually allowed later on. So what a way to thank Fatima bint Asad. So for adopting Prophet Muhammad, I'm still contemplating on that. Like a little bit sometimes, right? How can this happen then when in Surah Mujadila 2 it says, do not, no one is your mother. God knows what she did to him. That, but she, according to, and then Shia Islam also falls apart. Because she was Imam Ali's mother. She could not have done anything wrong. So here, the Shias would lose if they say maybe Fatima bint Asad did something wrong to him. That's why. So these verses came out. You know how these verses are. Somehow from his deceased heart, Mujadila, ayat 2. None are your mothers except those who have given birth to you, and you only lie and this and that. But look at the pagan way of before Islam came. He was a child, he hadn't even declared Islam. And it could not have, he himself practiced pagan adoption, the way of pagan way of adoption. Certainly Allah has heard the speech of one, those who pronounce zihar among you to separate from their wives, they are not consequently their mothers. Full stop. Now we come to the general point. God comes. Just reading out here. The mothers are none but those who gave birth to them. It's not only there, but everyone's then mother is none. Right? So this way, except those who gave birth to them, and indeed they are saying an objectionable statement and a falsehood. Okay, yeah, their wives are not their mothers' backs and thing. Right? So, but by just pronouncing this, they're saying, not taking their wives as mothers, actually, like a mother would treat you and all this, but just for this divorce case time. They're saying, and in Surah Azab, Allah has made prophets' wives as mothers. What a contradiction. So once you leave this fear behind and challenge yourself, to hell, like you're entering now. Dare to go to hell for an impossible dream, for the truth. So some would say we don't question God, this and that, but now I had to do it because I had to, go to the origin of everything. Like recently, I had to go to the depths of everything, and then I realized as I was contemplating on other issues in my life. Like, how can a person go to hell? Right? So I was with my Zaranti's Devi. How can a person go to hell? You know why? Oops. Wait a minute. I just did. Okay, this is like, how can a person go to hell? Because the soul, sorry, I'm slow. Soul is from God, spirit, part of the spirit. How can even Shaitan go to hell? But if you're going to say that God can bring the very fingertips, restore to the very fingertips, but how can the soul, spirit go to hell? It's localized when it's here. I've heard it from Rupert Spira and reading Bhagavad Gita and all this. So even in the Hindus, I thought I was connected with Paramahamsa Vishwananda. I don't know. I was like, she had told her mother that his mother, a mother asked, will my daughter go to heaven? So on that I was going on and I was saying, will she come back? But one day she'll have to go to heaven. But then how can the spirit go to hell? It's from God. If you're going to say he's going to make a body and he's going to give it life but it can't be without the spirit. Nothing can be done without the spirit, pure awareness. We all have that. So if this spirit is localized in this body, I don't know how it can go to hell and burn. And even Shaitan, like God can, God's going to create another, but God hasn't explained it properly in the Quran, how he's going to create another kind of fire and explain it to us like really scientifically, fire burning fire. We say, black magic can't break black magic. Evil can't harm evil. How is okay? God will make a. So we believed in God so much naively that we took it that God would, miraculously create another fire, and it will burn Shaitan, because Shaitan was Iblis and Iblis was a jinn, and a jinn smoke and fire from fire, and he was made of fire. We are told in the Quran ayats. Now I even challenge the Hindus. If there's a swarg and an earth, that's a heaven and a hell, or did I other way around? I just can't remember. I'm confused. So how can the spirit or soul go to hell? What will go to hell? And burn there. Maybe the skin, but the skin would need life. Okay, so I'm stuck on this now. I don't know. Everything has fallen apart for me here. But the Quran ayats, still I'm at this, right? So we go to Surya Anam. This is terrible for the... Oh, it's not opening to Surya Anam. I just opened it. What is wrong with you? Oh, God. Okay, Surya Anam, verse 137. So here it blames these associates. They have idolaters, partners. And likewise to many of the polytheists, their partners have made polytheists their partners. I don't know who their partners are. The evil associates who they worship, perhaps. Okay, or their partners, having made to seem pleasing the killing of their children in order to bring about their destruction. Yeah, human beings, we can do many things. But it's not only these polytheists, right? Even Abraham took his child. That you would say that's for another reason, whatever the reason may be. But killing, it's a good reason, and this is a bad reason. Good reason and bad reason. That's God's reason. This is the partner's reason for killing the children in order to bring about their destruction and to cover them with confusion in their religion. Confusion in their religion. And if Allah had willed, they would not have done so. Huh. So Allah willed it. But that's the highest will, because under the will, the highest will is like the highest consciousness. There's a consciousness and there's a highest consciousness. Krishna is the highest consciousness. Wait a minute, I'm quite confused now. There's a high will, highest will of Allah. Under Allah's will or awareness, nothing can happen. They would not have done so. So leave them and that which they invent. In fact, we can try to save them and say, please listen, don't kill your children for destruction. Maybe they'll listen to some reason or something. Likewise, to many of the polytheists, the partners have made pleasing the killing of their children, pleasing the This is quite wait a minute. So you know what, and this is for partners. But the share of the partners reacheth not Allah. Now they are dividing, and Allah's telling us they are dividing. But they don't divide their worship. Even these associate partners, they worship, they don't divide it. Maybe Allah, to worship Allah is, we worship them to seek nearness to Allah. Surah Sumarayat, to seek nearness, position with Allah. My goodness, this really gets so terrible. Reaching not Allah with the share of Allah reaches the partners. I have to time and again change my glasses. Reach it not Allah with the share of Allah reacheth their partners. Oh God. You know, what is this? And they say these animals and crops are forbidden. No one may eat from them except whom we will. And they claim that camels' backs are forbidden, those upon which the name of Allah is an invention of untruth about Him. He will punish them for what they were inventing. Imagine you, Allah, all this conflict really has created such a thing. They will not, they have lost who killed their children in foolishness, without knowledge. You see here? So this was the verse I chose from the beginning, because this means with knowledge you can kill your children. And prohibited what Allah had provided for them. Allah had provided and allowed them, right? Because there is haram in Allah, even in what Allah has provided for us here. It's, what is this? No, wait, I made halal. Haram, halal. Risk provided has been to them provided by Allah. But Surah Maida, it says, 87, do not, O believers, do not make unlawful what Allah has made lawful, the good things which Allah has made lawful for you. So provided and made lawful, because there are some unlawful things also Allah has made. Falsely ascribing that to Allah are utter losers. They have gone astray and are certainly not among those guided to the right way. So this. Now where do we go from here? Meaning, oh goodness. lying in Islam, what is through the Shia way, looking at the Quran ayats, Imam sayings and all. Now, it's a good thing, like previous live stream, I said that, what was it? Shias have made it so beautiful and all this. Yes, it's a good thing if you Shias don't read those ayats. You take it like the Ismaili Imam has asked them to take it, not to literally read them and all this. Just take the Imam. Very good, very beautiful religion, I say. Most beautiful religion in the world. Just don't take the Quran ayats, violent ones. Just take Imams and their lives. Mostly concentrate on that. I think this was a very, very intelligent way of the Ismaili Imam. I think one of the Ismaili Imams kept it a secret. And, but the race would carry on, of every race. Even Shaitan's race will carry on. Everyone's race carries on. Only Prophet Muhammad's race didn't carry on through his son, but his daughter. So, thing is that, what was I saying now? Race would carry on. Sorry, I've forgotten. So you can take the Imam's, this thing all. Yeah, now you can see, their life, very good, read how beautiful Imam, even Imam Musa Kazim, who controlled his anger and all. The Qadhim means the controller of anger. Fatima bint Asad. So do you see this over here? I mean, I mentioned this in the end in my previous live stream. Here it says, now you can read whether the Shias take it like this or not, how she raised Muhammad. Then at the year 578, Muhammad was adopted by Fatima bint Asad and Abu Talib as their son. Right? So where the Shias take it like this, adoption. And even, Prophet Muhammad also practiced this kind of pagan practice of adoption, custom. And then it was changed. In Surah Azab, we are told all that in some ayahs. So in detail, if you want to read, then you go to the tafsirs, Shia, Sunni tafsirs. So adopted by Fatima bint Asad and Abu Talib as the son. And then in Surah Mujadila ayat 2, I just showed you earlier, that none are their mothers except those who have given them birth. This is general, like he's saying. None are their mothers except those. Okay. Oh yes, wait a minute. Allah, I tell you, it's so intelligent, very most. He doesn't even have intelligence. What he had, he's the source of intelligence, right? So he's saying none are their mothers except there it means read in context. Could be. Okay. Let's even say that I'm wrong about the whole thing. None are their mothers except those who have given birth to them. None are their mothers except those who have given birth to them. Of course, none are their mothers. Oh, but you know where the problem comes. The problem came, this on its own, reading in context would have not then, you could have said, I could have listened to the Salahuddin Muslim and said, yes, you're right. Read this in context. But the problem came in Surah Azab. Prophet Muhammad's wives are made mothers of the believers. And then you say, read that in context. Okay. Huh? But there's a contradiction here. You can call someone your mother, you know, very thin line between sanity and insanity, as they say. Maybe you'll miss this line if you don't pay attention properly and take the Shia style or the Sunni style. So it was very difficult, really, to even convince Salahuddin type Muslims, right? And so let me first, in his later years, Muhammad used to say of her that she would have let her own children go hungry rather than him. Another thing I missed here is it is said that Fatima loved Muhammad more than her own children. But none could be like Fatima bint Asad. And was she Muslim? Before the death, I don't know, maybe the light of Prophet Muhammad. The Shia say Prophet Muhammad knew he was a prophet, he just had to announce it, but he practiced the pagan Arab adoption custom, right? Don't forget that. So here also Fatima bint Asad was practicing the pagan Arab custom, right, of adoption. And the way she was his uncle's wife, so that, and a far off relative, related more to Khadija bint Khuwaylid, his wife, Prophet Muhammad's wife. Years later, Muhammad got the opportunity to pay back the love he received from the family as he and his wife Khadija adopted Ali as their son. Adopted Ali as their son. Oh, that's why he had to change that. Because now Ali was chosen. Adopted Ali. Khadija also. Oh my goodness, what? Do you see all this? This is against logic, I tell you, my head. I've been to dizzying heights of doubt, confusion. What is this going on? Moreover, hello? If Shias have this, but you know, your Imams are not going to tell you this. Adopted Ali, also adopted Zayd. Now, how did they adopt Ali as their son? Shias won't say this. I don't think so. Oh, Shiati. Oh my goodness. Adopted son gets married to Khadija and Muhammad's daughter, Fatima. I mean, cousin, son, and then, cousin also, but then adopted son also. So do you see the mess they've created here? Mess, confusion. So in Surah Ahzab, we are told that they never used to marry their adopted sons' ex-wives. They used to take the adopted sons as their real sons. So not even have, like, how did Ali live with the daughter Fatima? Haram. Not mahram. Not mahram, right? We have, Muslim families now saying, oh, male cousin, stay away. Telling their daughters, if they come home, you don't meet them, you don't look at them. Partition. Another problem here. You see contradictions. Oh my God. You have missed all this because your heart couldn't see the other side. Or what? What is the citation here? Affected. Abbas 13:9. Okay. God knows they say don't go to Wikipedia and all this. Fatima bint Asad already had 3 sons. Hani. Yeah, but Ali used to go to Ali left his Ali left Abu Talib and went to Prophet Muhammad's house to live there with Prophet Muhammad. Oh, that's the Sunni hadith, I think, or Shia, I don't know, both, or both. So it's quite a mess up, you see. So how will I search this to find out? So searching online, please bear with me patiently. This could be. I hope the sound is coming. Sound is coming? I hope the sound is coming. Fatima bint Asad Shia site. Fatima bint Asad bin Hashim bin Abd Manaf was the mother of Imam Ali and the wife of Abu Talib, 11th person, second woman to have converted to Islam. Was the 11th person and the second woman. There are converted to Islam. You see, even the Shias have this, that she converted. She was a convert. Oh. Oh, Shias, what are you going to do? Oh my goodness. First step, Harge. I've fallen to pieces. She was raised in Makkah. So she was not a Muslim. Even the Shias believed to have converted to Islam. So now we can take the Wikipedia one on Fatima bint Asad. That part which I showed you. This is Shia, right? I'm here. Wiki Shia. Look. Wiki Shia. So many things have happened, it's hard to believe what's going on here. Some sources have appealed to a number of unreliable hadiths in order to show that Fatima bint Asad did not convert to Islam until the last moments of her life. Okay. The claim is rejected by the majority of old and contemporary Islamic historical sources. On their accounts, she converted to Islam in Makkah and then migrated to Medina. But she converted for sure, both Shia and Sunni, general Islam. Fatima was the mother of 8 children. A guardianship, this is adoption of Prophet. Due to the successive deaths of his father, mother, and grandfather, the guardianship of the Prophet of Islam was taken over by Abu Talib. At the age of 8, Fatima bint Asad, being Abu Talib's wife, played a crucial role in his care. So they don't say that Fatima bint Asad adopted him, but Surah as Prophet Muhammad adopted said that they put guardianship here. Shias, how wrong can they be? Her deep affection for the Prophet is evident from his reaction to her death. Today my mother passed away. Oh. The Prophet said, then he shrouded her. Today my mother passed away. None are your mothers except those who have given birth. But you can call them mother. Out of respect, they say, I see. So they can divorce their wife by saying you are like the backs of our mothers. What's the problem of that? What's the problem there? When they are not the backs of their mothers. Right, yeah. No. There is a problem because, you see, Islam on one hand has to be very precise that you don't you don't do hanky-panky. You have to be precise. You know, when it comes to politics, you have to be very, very precise, very precise. How dare you tell them that they are the backs of their mother, your mothers, when they are not the backs of your mothers? It's just not right to say it like that. But it is right to explain that when you're lying, what did Imam Jafar Sadiq Imam say? It's like what? Putting your hand in the toilet thing. Oh, it's like that, right? If you knew the truth about lying, how disgusting it is when you lie. It's like some Imam said, I read somewhere like, lying is like, wait a minute. So that is okay when you use a metaphor like that. Lying is like, Shia Imam said it. When you compare lying is another sin, which is tradition of Imam Hassan al-Askari. Lying is another. This is Sayyid Abdul Hussain Dastghaib Shirazi. Common sense says lying is haram. Lying is one of the greatest sins. Beware. Prophet Muhammad said, I inform you. Now wait a minute. Hassan Askari. All the evils have been locked in a room and its key is lying. Angels curse the liars. Quranic. Lying is an evil greater than drinking. It's greater than drinking, but you know what it's like? Wait a minute. If I can find Imam Jafar Sadiq saying, maybe it was Imam Jafar Sadiq. Blackened. What's wrong with a black face? Sin of lying is worse than drinking wine. It's not like lying is worse than drinking. So, foul smelling mouth of the liar. Awful smell. The angels abhor the liars. Lying is disbelief. The stench from the liar's mouth reaches the skies. Falsehood spoils faith. It's like putting your hand in. If you know the true, like reality, one of the divine punishments for too much lying is that Allah makes the liar afflicted. Now that He has spoken on punishments for liars. But that, Greatest sins is talkativeness and falsehood. Avoid falsehood. Where's that lies kept away from truth and reality? Inhuman form of liar and berserk. Didn't Imam say that it's like The sixth holy Imam, Imam al-Sadiq, meaning Imam Jafar Sadiq, to attribute falsehood to Allah, greatest sin, attribute, it's like putting your hand, every type of falsehood. Can't find it. Maybe it's here. Oh God, I have to go till the end. Oh God. No? Someone is inside of me, I guess. Lying is like putting your hand. Maybe that was in Al-Kafi somewhere. Lying is an embellishment of Satan's hands. Wait a minute. Is there something from the Quran? Because right now I can't find Imam Jafar Sadiq or any Imam saying that lying is like putting your hand in a very like nijis thing, like your shit. Sorry. Oh God, I'm in the toilet seat inside. Oh, yeah, no. But what? It's like a mirage or Surah Nur. Mirage in a desert. Oh, it's like eating. What's that thing? Eating your dead. Eating your. Oh, it's in the Quran. Dead. Another like this kind of a example. Eating your dead brother's backbiting meat. It's in Quran ayat Surah Nur. You know when there was a. Would one of you love to eat the flesh of his dead brother? Ah! But of course it is not the flesh of your dead brother, is it? Oh, you have believed. Avoid much negative assumption. What's going on here? I'm getting slip of tongue and all this. Like, sorry, Gujarati person talking. Adamta. No, sorry. That's the Indeed, some assumption is sin. And do not spy or backbite each other. Would one of you like to eat the flesh of his brother when dead? You would detest it. So it's likened to eating your dead brother's flesh. Right? You see here? Now, of course, that is not. It is not your dead brother. It is not even your brother. Real brother. So please contemplate on this. Just having my tea also, it gets cold. When I'm doing these made tea. Surah Hujurat, verse 12. Please contemplate on this, how he likens this to that. God even does it. So when God, you're saying no, but when maybe Allah told them, their goddess or someone told them, that when you divorce, this is the way you should divorce your wives. So that never again now can you have it. So be very, very, when you get married, be very serious to what person you're getting married to. You know, the Hindus have Janam, this thing, they have to look and see what is the janam of whether this date, when they would get married, how the past is of this person, whether there's a good this thing and what thing, that thing, good partnership, a marriage will last. It's good. Janam, some in Indian movies we used to see this. I just moved some. Oh God, this is giving me. So like that, okay. So this. Would one of you love to eat the flesh of his dead brother? No, of course not. You would not. But like, how do you trust this? Anyways, that's terrible. I have no words really. And I'm quite. I had to force myself to speak. I've come this far. It's a miracle because I'm not a good talker. I don't speak in public. I'm a quiet person. So I've surprised myself. Killing of the children. Okay, so let's see. Anything else? Anyone coming? Join here. So no. Surah Mujadila ayat 2. And Surah Azab ayat 6, I think, where it says, or where does it say, sorry, that the prophets' wives are the mothers. And then none are your mothers except those. Don't even call them your mothers. Such a shocking thing still. Surely the Prophet has a greater claim over the believers than they have over each other, and his wives are their mothers. Oh, so they cannot marry the wives, the believers. No one actually can marry the wives. Oh, so the believers, but they could have married the disbeliever. The disbelievers could have married them. And it is only a word you say from your mouths, right? You mean to say that God cannot intervene? God intervenes between the man and his heart. God intervenes and even talks behind the curtains and all that. God intervenes between this either a man and his heart, whether he's a disbeliever or what. Let's say a believer, and know that Allah intervenes between a man and his heart, and that to him you will be gathered. O you who believe, obey Allah and the Messenger, and when He calleth you to that which quickeneth you, and know that Allah cometh in between the man and his own heart. This is a man and his own heart, and what is the Surah 8, verse 24? My heart tells me. Surah 8, believers. Surah Anfal, verse 24. O you who have believed, respond to Allah and to the Messenger when He calls you to that which gives you life. And know that Allah intervenes between a man and his heart, and that to Him you will be gathered. Allah intervenes, calls you to what gives you life, and know that Allah comes between a man Al-Mar'i, Mar'i, and his heart. Qalb. Yeah, it's not the mind, it's the heart. Qalb, qalb. So there's fu'ad and there's qalb. See? A man and his heart. Know that Allah, not a believer only, but all men and his heart. It's generally telling you, Allah intervenes. I wish Allah always intervened so my heart would not do anything bad and not go astray. I would be Baina Mur'i. Sorry, excuse me. Funny thing is that I can never pronounce that hard. They say Urdu in the ra. Ra. Perso. That's day after tomorrow. Perso. Sorry, excuse me. It's in Urdu, Perso. Parwa. Gora. Oh God. So this, I can never pronounce that R, that Perso. Choro. Oh God. So this is quite a nightmare for us. That Bhavana has lied. Oh God. And killing. Look how he's made you believe in a lie, right? How much time now? Can it be short? Look how he's made you believe in a lie. 48 minutes again. Then let it be for an hour. Look how he's made you lie. Believe in his lies. And, Surah Anam. What else? Oh, you have believed. Respond to Allah and to the Messenger when He calls you to that which gives you life. No. Why doesn't it open to Surah Anam? What's wrong with that? This is terrible. So it must all go. Okay, if you're going to give me this problem here, I have to do something. Close all tabs. Don't believe in lies. You need evidence. You have been so fearful, made to fear Allah and not question. Question Him. Good morning to you, madam. M16 says, good morning to you, madam. Is this a new arguments you are coming with or what? Yes. Some new ayats and all. Yeah, new arguments. Fatima bint Asad too. M16. I was just about to see what. So yes, what question? Any questions? Read the whole. Any suggestions that I haven't read the whole Quran or something? I have to read the whole Quran. New arguments. There are contradictions like anything coming up. More and more contradictions in the Quran. And even in the history, Islamic history, Fatima bint Asad's life even. Yes, and about evidence. What evidence do you have that this Allah is the true Allah and this Quran is true? So if you're a Shia, don't concentrate much. If you want to make your religion beautiful, don't concentrate much on the Quran ayats, violent ones, but just, read your Imam's lives and all this and what Imam Hussein did. And forget what here they've said against this and against polytheists. Surah. Surah. Do you have something to add? Oh, any question? What step by step I wanted to go with you. Where was it? What were you saying that day? Sorry, I've forgotten. What was it? So maybe now I can help you step by step, show you through the Quran ayats. Surah 6137. Look how what Yazid. You see, Imam Hussein sent his children reluctantly, but because the polytheists saw and they were like, lying. And yet Surah Zariyat, misinformers are destroyed. There's so many curses on the liars, so many curses. So many things against the liars. Likewise, to many of the polytheists, their associates have made pleasing the killing of their children in order to bring about their destruction. So, every action has a reaction. And every cause has an effect, you see. So if you're going to mess with the polytheists and keep messing and killing them in Surah Tawbah, as we're told, how you killed them, then one day Yazid that God's, every action has a reaction. I kept wondering, like in Shia Islam, later on in my later years, like, when I realized, oh my God, 15, because Khomeini came, and 15 is the time when young boys can participate in war, religious wars, right? Holy wars, as they're called. MashaAllah, you are so fast in bringing new ones, while poor like me need some time to contemplate. Oh my goodness. And read all relative sources. No, because you are not slow or anything. Because all I do is this, and I'm so in other. I can't cook. I'm surviving on parathas, frozen. And sometimes I can't even get up to eat properly. Can't get up. This is all I am. I'm so in other things, very, very slow. Can't even do them properly. So much I have to do. So no, don't think I'm so fast. I've been slow. It's 54 years now. And thank God now we have everything on the tips of our fingers, right? And for free. I mean, I'm so grateful to this also. How would you know? How would you realize? How would you see? How could I show you? This was a tremendous thing. Thank God for Abdullah Gondal, who started with the Quran ayats, questioning them. There was a time where I was like quite shocked. For so long I didn't even tell my father, what is this? In Surah Azab verse 37. And Surah Nur, I never told anyone until this late. No, my M16, it's not mashallah. I'm bedridden. I have pain in this side near the liver. I might be dying. I'm asking Kalki Avtar if, I should die and then go to his place here. Maybe I should get a new body or something because my body is just withering, falling apart. can't even go, oh, I have to, garbage, stressed out. So, no. Other things are neglected. I'm eating chips. Snacks. When was the last time I had a proper meal? So, that's why this is the only thing I have. I'm surviving here. I don't want to eat. I just want to keep telling the truth, sharing the truth. Maybe I'll have to die. I'm 16. Kalki Avatar may call me, can't fix this body of mine, heal it. Can't even get rid of the habits, bad habits. And then maybe you'll see me, look alike, you might not recognize me. I don't know how tall, how beautiful, my hair straight. Kalki Avatar will take me to his other, this ashram here. And you'll be wondering, is this Zara Berserk? She's got another name. My teeth are rotting. I don't have a face to go out. You sound you weren't taught Islamic knowledge, and the first time you learn about Islam from detractors. Detractors? What detractors? Which, can you be specific? Taught Islamic knowledge by detractors. Did you know that there is someone with Allah, with power? And Allah does not associate anyone with him. So you were taught. So I ask you, what is your religion? You won't tell me. So you were taught by someone who has great knowledge of Islam. Great knowledge. Huh? You sound you weren't taught Islamic knowledge. Yeah, I was just very, I couldn't, even my father recited ziyarat after Majlis, and I couldn't remember ziyarat from atheists and Christians. No, I learned it from my own, because my Maulvi Sahib, when he came to teach me Arabic or Quran, yes, the reason why, I sound like this, no, I wasn't taught by Christians. I had to read the Bible on my own. I didn't have a religious scholar to teach me, the Christian priest to teach me the Bible. You see, when a religious scholar came to teach me, I don't even know what they call him, Shias, even that. I've forgotten everything. So, why do you come here to learn from, me? To learn all the things that the detractors teach, the un-Islamic way. Right? Sounds like, I don't know where you're coming from. So it is true you never study Islam formally. No, not from a religious scholar. reading their books. But I'm not a zakira. I'm not a religious scholar. Like I read a lot of books when I wasn't even feeling well, Peshawar nights and things like that. Sayyid Yusuf Zaidi sent me. From books, yeah. Al-Kafi and all this. And Quran ayat I read in English. Quran I read in English because when my Shia Maulana Sahib came, I told him that this Allah written in Arabic when he was teaching. Now I've even forgotten because I was quite young. Allah in Arabic, you see? You see this W up there with the double lam? He told me when there's this W up there, what's called Shadda or, something like that. This, he knew the name of this W up there, right? Written. So you don't write lam, L, of the any Arabic word together if this sign is up there, symbol. It means it is doubled. So you don't have to write it double also when this symbol is there. So I told him before even coming to Allah, the written word Allah. So when he was teaching me all this about these symbols, that when this symbol is written on top of the word consonant or any letter that needs to be doubled, then you don't have to write it in double. You don't write it. LL. Written. So when we came to Allah, I said, Maulana Sahib, you told me that when this symbol is there, you don't write the L double, but there's a double in Allah here, written, in written form. He said, you're right. So he told me, if he was very honorable. You see, honorable people, like, if they find they've done something wrong, a mistake, my father used to tell me in London or UK, prime ministers, ministers, like they resign. But our people, he said, so much corruption, shamelessly they sit there not resigning. They don't resign. So my Maulana Sahib said, Shia, he said, if I find a reason, if I find, not even good, he said, if I find a reason for this, the mistake you've pointed out, I will come back and tell you. If I don't find a reason, I will never come back. I won't come back to teach you Quran in Arabic. He never came back. It is strange because our schools teach Islamic studies, actually. I was in Karachi American School, for your information. I didn't have, I was in Auntie Lady Begum School, Shia School. I only learned Nade Ali. Until I was there for kindergarten, then I went to a Christian school and I never studied Islamic studies. Then I went to London. So you don't know what is about my past, right? Were you in Pakistan? Not everyone is like you. Then the parents teach them, mother teaches them. So there was another lady who was teaching me how many prophets are there in Urdu in my childhood, I remember. 1,24,000. And what are the imams' names now? The lady taught me the imams' names. But a man Maulana came to teach me this Arabic, Quran in Arabic. But the lady was teaching me also. So I know my 12 imams' names. Right? First Imam, Imam Ali, second Hassan, third Hussein, Fourth, Imam Zain al-Abidin. Fifth, Imam Muhammad Baqir. Sixth, Imam Jafar Sadiq. Seventh, Imam Musa Kazim. Eighth, Imam Ali al-Raza. Ninth, Imam Muhammad al-Taqi, or what, yeah? And 10th, Imam Naqiyul. No, wait a minute. Yeah, Imam Naqi. And the 11th is Imam Hassan Askari. And the 12th is Imam Mehdi. No, I'm not going to put my head down. Sorry. So, Kalki Aftar came in like Muhammad Ali in London. Look alike. So, with Babaji Maha Aftar later on. Like. So there's, I don't know if, so sorry, if Kalki Avatar comes, what will you do? You won't recognize him. Why not avail the good, the Hindu side? That is exactly the problem. The problem is with this Allah and the Quran. Not what you think is the problem. Being biased. The problem is you've been taught to go against other people's scriptures, not to believe in their scriptures, only your scriptures. M16. That is exactly the problem. You never got exposed to the intellectual Islam and proper Islam studies. Proper Islam studies you can do on your own. Who says that you need to go to Qom? Have you been to Qom, or have you been to Saudi Arabia? Or a madrasa? Have you been to the Pakistani madrasas? And you know the problem in the Pakistani madrasas? You can't trust a Maulana. The problem is, you don't see the problem in your own intellectual Islam and proper Islam studies even, that I'm showing you here, discovering as we go even. But the Sunni see problem in Shia, Shia see problem in Sunni. High religious scholars, well learned, very learned religious scholars. And some of them are at loggerheads with each other. Some of them dissenting each other. You don't see that problem at all. And you go criticizing others. Then the problem is in Islam, which I'm showing you. So the problem, where was I going? The problem is, even if they bring that ayat, where was it? Bring your evidence. Even if they bring their evidence, don't testify with them. You see, sister, brother, now which Islamic intellectual Islamic, which intellect school of thought are you going to take? The public schools in this part of the Islamic world, like in UAE, KSA, Egypt, teaches Islamic studies from young age. Yes, but yeah, they do, yes. So now, in all these, majority are what? Sunnis or Shias? All these countries you've just mentioned or cities. Countries you mentioned: Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and UAE. Young age they are taught. So I was taught in young age from Auntie Lady Begum School, my Shia until nursery, kindergarten. But I wasn't taught how to pray because I wasn't old enough to be taught how to pray. Do you mean to say that I should go with what you are saying? With your religious scholars when I was a Shia, not a Sunni? I've done my Sunni Shia research. Have you read Peshawar Nights? Don't testify with them. Do you know the Shia side? I'm sorry you're not exposed to. You should do religious studies like comparative religious studies. You're only taught one side of Islam and you're not taught the other side of Islam, which is Shia Islam. Right? And look what the Emirati has, he's been ostracized. 90% of you people are wrong. You hide things that you've studied. Where's that ayat? Bring your evidence. Bring your evidence. So look at this. Look at this. Where's that? Oh God, I have to go to my library. Where's that? Haha. Men Wasim Yusuf, Ziryab Jamal channel, Wasim Yusuf, Men of Religion Hide 90% of issues. Subtitles by at Ziryab Jamal. The public's M16? Sure, but formal studies of the deen is such important. Otherwise, we will have Muslims by name only. Excuse me. My father used to take me to Allama Rashid Turabi's majlises when I was very young. During Muharram, we go to majlises. Ramadan, Amal nights. We know when our imams have had martyrs, we read du'as, we read the life of that's our knowledge. But your formal knowledge is what? When 90% of issues of religious men, they've hidden from you, how much have you learned? How much have you learned? How much have you learned of your religion? How much do you know? And how much is hidden from you? Did you know that Khadija bint Khuwailid was a pagan when she was a great businesswoman? Did you know that? Did you know? Do you know all your hadiths? Do you know the Battle of Jamal? Who fought who? We know it, but we just had to confirm it. Later on, I had to confirm it. Battle of Jamal. What happened? How many Muslims died? Who fought whom? It's a mistake. It's a mistake. The fourth caliph and the al-Mu'minin Aisha. It's a mistake. Someone else came in the middle, and that's why these people fought, because someone else instigated this battle, and so many Muslims died. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Ali played no role in the deadly attack, and his son Hassan was injured while guarding Uthman's besieged residence. Role of in the Uthman's Ali and the retribution of Uthman, election of Ali, Talha and Zubair, both companions of Muhammad with ambitions for the high office. Are you kidding me? Then you blame the Shias for saying bad things, cursing the companions, offered the pledges to Ali but later broke them. After leaving Medina on the pretext of performing the Umrah, do you know about this? Your ulama say, keep away from this. This is the dark history. You're not allowed to make any decisions about this. Meaning, whatever the companions, al-Mu'minin and the Caliph, fourth Caliph, Rashidun of that time, fought, killed each other, forget it. The knowledge of Islam is so big, we only got taught something of Hadith studies, Quranic studies, and tafsir, jurisprudence, and law, theology in the schools. Yeah. No, you need to expand your about these matters also, where the Sahabas have fought each other, had a war. Aisha. What was Aisha's part in this battle of Jamal? You know what Prophet Muhammad said in your hadith? There, the devils are pointing at Aisha's house. And the dogs will be barking in Basra. That's when the end of times will come. God knows it'll be really terrible, killing many. No, you need to, after all this, you need to expand. And when I'm starting from the Quran ayats, you're saying you don't have knowledge, you don't have this, we have that. So you know about this is true. Read the Battle of Jamal also. We've covered many things. Shias have covered everything. But you see, your mind is so restricted to just theoretical knowledge, blindly following it, without even questioning it. Your ridiculous hadith says you have. I've shown you the discrepancies in the Quran. For God's sakes, be a little honorable, be a little decent. Someone is teaching you and you're saying, so you want all that mugged up knowledge, parrot knowledge, mugged up, without understanding anything. How can I show you? Do you know what Umar said on all this? On Thursdays, calamity of Thursday. But the hadith or the hadith of pen and paper. Muhammad became ill. You know, Ibn Abbas has cried. The Islamic library is one of the biggest. Oh my goodness. M16. Don't try to show off Islamic knowledge. There was Alexandria Library. The Islamic library is one of the biggest among world religions. And actually, it is the biggest. So, big deal. So what? What shall I do with it? Have you gone in the library, read the books? Then please go and read this. Umar prevented him from writing. You know this? Prophet Muhammad? He said, "You will never, never go astray. Allow me to write this." Removes Umar from his report altogether. Ibn Qatir, Tabari, God knows. Quarrel. You've had quarrels at the deathbed of Prophet Muhammad. He was sick when he was sick. Sick, bedridden. Muhammad's reaction. Al-Bukhari would. After Umar silenced Muhammad's wives who were asking the men to fulfill the Prophet's wish. Do you know about Prophet Muhammad fondling his wives? What kind of a prophet are you following? Prophet Muhammad, what kind of books do you have? Prophet Muhammad fondling his wife. Salma also. And if you're going to say this is something personal, hadith, it's a hadith. It is mentioned in the hadiths that Muhammad liked to fondle young virgins. He also expressed a preference for young girls over what he called matrons. Where is that hadith? This is Sahih al-Bukhari, number, what's this? Narrated Aisha, the Prophet fondled me. 298. 298. You will have this in your library, Islamic library. M16, narrated Aisha. The Prophet and I used to take a bath from a single pot while we were junub. It's between husband and wife. It should be private. Narrated Aisha. Then keep it private, right? Why are you putting it in Islamic hadiths and all this? During the menses, he used to order me to put on an izar, dress worn below the waist, and used to fondle me while in ittiqaf. Oh, sorry, and used to fondle me. I didn't see the full stop here, period. While in ittiqaf, he used to bring his head near me, and I would watch it while I used to be in my periods. These are the kind of books you have in your religious libraries, Islamic books. Narrated by Abdurrahman bin al-Aswad on the authority of his father, Aisha said, whenever Allah's apostle wanted to fondle any one of us during her periods, oh my God, look at this. This should be private. This is disgusting. Fondle any one of us during her periods, menses, in bracket. He used to order her to put on an izar and start fondling her. Aisha added, none of you could control his sexual desires as the Prophet could. After fondling, what desire, perhaps, is left for him? Such a sick man. Hadith 299. Narrated Maymuna, sorry, not Salma here. Whenever Allah's apostle wanted to fondle any of his wives, even Maymuna has recorded this. It comes from al Mu'mineen. During the periods, he used to ask her to wear an izar. Hadith number 300. Not for the Prophet, for he is our teacher in all things. Pardon? Not for the Prophet? What do you mean, not for the Prophet? For he is our teacher in all things. This is in the Hadith. I'm not the one. Not for the Prophet. What are you saying, not for the Prophet? How are you going to protect and defend your Prophet? It's your duty to help him. When the wives, the Hadiths are coming, these are Hadiths. I'm not the one saying it. Narrated Jabir bin Abdullah. I was accompanying the Prophet on a journey and was riding a slow camel that was lagging behind the others. The Prophet passed by me and asked, who is this? I replied, Jabir bin Abdullah. He asked, what is the matter? Why are you late? I replied, I'm riding a slow camel. He asked, do you have a stick? I replied in the affirmative. He said, give it to me. When I gave it to him, he beat the camel and rebuked it. Then that camel surpassed the others thenceforth. The Prophet said, sell it to me. I replied, it is a gift for you, O Apostle, O Allah's Apostle. He said, sell it to me. I have bought it for 4 dinars, gold pieces, and you can keep on riding it till Medina. When we approached Medina, I started going towards my house. The Prophet said, where are you going? I said, I have married a widow. He said, why have you not married a virgin to fondle with each other? I said, my father died and left daughters, so I decided to marry a widow, an experienced woman, to look after them like he did. Prophet Muhammad also married a widow first. Khadija, a very experienced, elderly lady even. He's, oh, you mean to say he's our teacher in all things? Nothing can be private about him. That's true. Okay, now I got it. I'm a bit slow in getting a little bit your things, what you say. Sorry, I'm a little bad at that. Oh, so this fondling, you're allowed, and he's telling people to fondle during menses also, your wives. I said, my father died. Okay. He said, well done. When we reached Medina, Allah's Apostle said, oh Bilal, pay him the price of the camel and give him extra money. Okay. This is not important. Narrated Jabir. Allah's Apostle said to me, have you got married, O Jabir? In literally all things. Yeah, so if it's okay for you to fondle, he's teaching you these things. Fondling a wife in marriage. During menses also. Very good teacher, I must say. Narrated Jabir, Allah's apostle said to me, "Have you got married, O Jabir?" I replied, "Yes." He asked, "What, a virgin or a matron?" I replied, "Not a virgin, but a matron." He said, "Why did you not marry a young girl who would have fondled with you?" Great teacher. Oh my goodness. I replied, "O Allah's apostle, my father was martyred on the day of Uhud and left 9 orphan daughters, who are my 9 sisters. So I disliked to have another young girl of their age, but I sought an elderly woman who could comb their hair and look after them. The Prophet said, 'You have done the right thing.'" Book 59, Hadith 382. Sahih al-Bukhari. So you like this about the Prophet teaching you all this? Literally, like fondling during menses and all. In the Quran ayat it says, "Don't go near your wives during menses." Oh, it contradicts Quran. But you can fondle your wives during the menses. This is the way to do it. This is the way we do it. Yes, he's our teacher. And he's also taught you how to frown to a blind man. Right? I always get it wrong in this. How wrong can you get? What has he taught you here? That Allah rebuked him. He frowned and turned away, the Prophet. He, i.e., the Prophet, frowned and turned away. He frowned and turned away, actually. But you put the Prophet. Because there came to him the blind man. But what would make you perceive, O Muhammad, that perhaps he might be purified? That is not a teaching, yeah. Oh, yes, sorry, yeah. I correct myself, yes. He is our teacher in all respects of life. But here he's failed. And God is correcting him, rebuking him. That is not a teaching, sorry. Yes, that is not a teaching, right? So if he should have been a teacher sent by God, he should have not failed like this. Made mistakes. In Surah Najm, Allah is saying, he doesn't even speak out of his own desire. And all the time Allah is correcting him. He doesn't even, this man didn't know how to behave when a blind man comes to him. He doesn't heal. If you have this kind of a teacher, God help you. God help you. Who's making mistakes? But God is giving you an evidence here against him. Don't take him as your teacher. The Mu'mineen have given you evidence in Surah Tahrim. The one who breaks a law of Allah to go pleasing his wives as a prophet. It goes against what is in Surah Maida at 87. O believers, do not make unlawful what Allah has made lawful, the good things which Allah has made lawful for you, seeking to please you. Not to that, sorry, that Surah Tahrim. He's seeking to please his wives, breaks the law of Allah. How great is that? How great is that? No, thank you, I don't need this. As a teacher, I don't need him as a teacher. I make my own mistakes. I will do it my way. To follow this person, adopting Zaid and then de-adopting him. Yes, it is great to please your wife. Is it greater than Allah? When the believers are told to please no one but Allah? Against Allah, is it greater? What is greater? To please Allah or to please the wives? Huh? What is greater? Yes, it is great to please your wife, but what is greater? Not at the cost of breaking the command of Allah. And when you break a command of Allah, what do? You bring forth the wrath of Allah on you. Not by breaking the command of Allah. You have to remain in the daira of Islam, in the boundaries of Islam. Limits that Islam has set forth for you to please your wives, not beyond those limits. You will be transgressors. Surah Maida says, Surah Maida ayat 87 is what? If you, O believers, do not, it's a command, do not make unlawful the good things which Allah has made lawful for you, and transgress, right? You would be transgressing. Sometimes the love get right off. Oh, please. You are going against your own Quran ayats. Now you're giving your opinion out of the blues. Against the Quran ayats, the Quran principles, the Sharia. You mean to say sometimes the love get right off the lover? It is perfectly understandable. You're talking like whom? Even the Westerners will not talk like this if they believe they have some principles, certain principles. I don't know, you're talking like who? You're talking like a be-iman person who has no iman, no faith in anything, just your mind and your opinion. Entirely relying upon your opinion. You've gone against Quran ayats. What are you saying? Are you above Allah or are you Allah? What are you saying, M16? I'm angry because, it hurts me to see where your intellect is going. Now, you see, against us ex-Muslims, I mean, what? You will never be a judge. Sorry, stay away. I would stay away from you. You can't do a simple, like read your Quran ayats. Going against the commands of Allah is what? Yes, it is great to please your wife. Oh my goodness, M16. Are you trying to be dishonest with me here? Not against. This is not my teacher, thank God for that. Huh? He's prohibiting himself. What if a polytheist prohibited himself seeking to please his wife? O Prophet. God addresses him as O Prophet. Now this is Allah's speech, Surah Qalam, Ayat 18. Right? After Allah has recited it, then you recite. Says in Surah Qalam, Ayat 18. O Prophet, why do you prohibit yourself from what Allah has made lawful for you? He's even prohibiting. Look at the extent to which he's going to please his wives, which is not allowed even for a prophet to do this. And sorry, who taught you how to give an opinion from your own self? No, you seem to forget that the Prophet of God was a fully human being. You seem to forget the ayat here. Although he's a human being, can he do something that a kafir does? Can he do something which a polytheist human being does? Even water he cannot, it's not equal to believing in Allah and the last day. And right? What the normal polytheists as human beings were doing. I'm not forgetting anything. You seem to do a lot more than me against your religion. So where was I going now? I forgot. If the polytheists did this, what would you say? Okay, he's a man and all this, right? But here it says in Surah Najm, you seem to forget that he's a prophet and he can't break laws. Can a believer break Allah's laws? Take oaths. Even Abu Bakr didn't do that. Take oaths lightly. Your companion has not strayed, nor has he erred. He doesn't make a mistake. Nor does he speak from his own inclination or desire, hawa. It is not but a revelation revealed, taught to him by one intense in strength. Very powerful. If this powerful, this is the way he's taught. And he keeps making mistakes and all this. What is the use? And breaking laws. And he is also, not to forget, you seem to forget something. You seem to forget he is of exalted character. Prophet Muhammad to be followed. Right? First you said, Amir, now you're succumbing to that you seem to forget. Yes, he's human because God has said in the Quran because he eats food and all this, he's human. But it doesn't mean he's got exalted character. Why? He's a teacher. He's a prophet. He's a lawbringer. You have to obey him with Allah. We don't say he was a fully human and a fully God as Christian. Please don't bring Christianity here. As a prophet, I'm talking about. What should he do? What should he do? Should he break the laws he's giving to you? Then who? Then in Surah Safat, even exalted moral character, he doesn't come close to that. What are the believers told in Surah Saf? Human beings. You're going to say, oh, human beings, they're human beings are God. Then fight with God. Then argue with God the way you're arguing with me. Question God on this. Oh, you who believe. Oh, you who believe. What are you saying here? What does that make you? Huh? God hates it. Oh, you who believe. Why say here that which ye do not? Which ye do not do, meaning. Humans make trivial mistakes. What is the big deal about this? That's humanity. That's humanity, even no big deal. Humans can keep making mistakes, no big deal. They're learning. As they go on, they can apologize and keep learning. But that's not the case for Islam and the believers and the Muslims and Prophet Muhammad being above them. You need to obey someone who doesn't make mistakes. And Surah Tahrim ayat doesn't say it's a trivial mistake. And this ayat doesn't say it's trivial. Because Allah, it says Allah's greatly hateful in the sight of Allah is that you say what you do not do. Huh? Now, please stick to the Quran, logic, ayats. Don't give me your opinion. M16. Where are you coming from? Sorry to say, your knowledge of Islam is pathetic. This is un-Islamic. The believers have to fulfill their contracts and be trustworthy, reliable, not breaking oaths all the time like we are told polytheists were or disbelievers were. It says here, great is hatred with Allah, that you say what not you do, what you don't do, meaning greatly hateful. Breaking a law in Islam is a crime, right? God's law is a crime. And how strict is Islam on that? What are the punishments for adultery and stealing? And fornication, if you're single. What is your end? Fire of hell. Burning. So greatly hateful in the sight of Allah is that you say what you do not do. Read Surah Maida. '87 ayat. Sure, Allah, the only Prophet, corrects the trivial mistakes of his human prophet. That is perfectly understandable. O believers, do not forbid the good things which Allah has made lawful for you, and do not transgress. Indeed, Allah does not like transgressors. Huh? Sure, Allah, the only perfect, corrects the trivial mistake of his human prophet. That is perfectly understandable. Okay? Let me see how I can show you something else. So these Sahabas, no. Umar made a mistake by loudly speaking. He said, the ayat came, you will be ruined. It's not perfectly understandable. You would be ruined against Umar. And the ayat came. Against Abu Bakr. This ayat came. I'll show you the ayat against Umar. It's not perfectly understandable. The rules are very strict. You have to obey them. If you don't obey Allah and the Messenger, what will happen to you? Your faces will be flipping in hellfire. And let not those of virtue among you and with wealth swear not to give to their relatives and the needy and the emigrants for the cause of Allah, and let them pardon and overlook. Would you not like that Allah should forgive you? And Allah is forgiving and merciful here. Right? Yes. Indeed, those who falsely accuse chaste, unaware, and believing women are cursed. And your own people did this. Are cursed in this world and in the hereafter. Read the tafsir. Your own people. So about Abu Bakr, the ayat was, the Lord is forgiving and all this. And about Umar, those who raise their voices. Above the voice or in front of, what is the ayat now? Surah Hujurat, ayat 2. What are you told? O you who have believed, do not raise your voices above the voice of the Prophet, or be loud to him in speech, like the loudness of some of you to others, lest your deeds become worthless while you perceive not. You will be ruined. All your deeds become, good deeds become worthless. What are speaking about? What is from the nature of human, like forgetting, not the intentional singing? Pardon me, what is this? Sorry, I don't get this. M16. What are speaking about? What are speaking about? Of what is from the nature of human, like forgetting, not the intentional singing? Excuse me, I'm here. You said here, humans make trivial mistakes, and what is the big deal about this? Sinning. You have to be very aware because believers have a very high position, right? They're guardians one of another. You have to follow the commands of Allah. Otherwise, this is not a trivial sin here. Indeed, those who lower their voices before the Messenger of Allah, they are the ones whose hearts Allah has tested for righteousness. For them is forgiveness and great reward. Indeed, those who call you from behind the chambers, most of them do not use reason. And if they had been patient until you come out to them, it would have been better for them. But Allah is forgiving and merciful. O you have believed, if there comes to you a disobedient one with information, investigate, lest you harm a people out of ignorance and become over what you have done regretful. And know that among you is the Messenger of Allah. If he were to obey you in much of the matter, you would be in difficulty. But Allah has endured to you the faith and has made it pleasing in your hearts, and has made hateful to you disbelief, defiance, and disobedience. Right? Trivial mistakes, you call. Prophet Muhammad can make trivial mistakes, and he's human, it is perfectly understandable. He's human to the extent, he's a perfect man, Surah Taha. He's only human to the extent in flesh and bone, he drinks and eats. I can make a mistake here. He cannot afford to make these mistakes. If you make a mistake in reciting the Quran, some religious scholars even hit you. Right? Don't hide that. Don't hide the punishment, the sin for not reading the Quran ayats properly. The Prophet forget because it is of the human nature to forget, but he doesn't sin. Which Prophet are you talking about? Adam, Hazrat Adam? This Prophet should not sin or forgetting. It's an error he's made in Surah Azab. You're supposed to obey him, help him, exalt him. Endure to you in faith. Hateful to you disbelief, defiance, and disobedience. Those are the guided ones. It is a bounty from Allah and a favor. Let's see what else is there. Believers should fight and make settlement between the two. But if one of them oppresses the other, then fight against the one that oppresses. Allah loves those who act justly. Speak the truth, even if it be against you. The believers are but brothers, so make settlement. Oh, you have believed, let not a people ridicule. Okay, wait a minute. There's another ayat I can see. So you say he's not perfect, right? Why do the Shias then say that the Prophet needs to have the Prophet Muhammad infallibility? Shiaism. You know why? Sayyid Mustafa Qazwini. The Shia school of thought maintains the belief that all the prophets of Allah, from Adam to Muhammad, as well as the 12 successors, Imams of the Prophet Muhammad and his daughter Lady Fatima al-Zahra, were infallible throughout their entire lives and never committed any type of sin that would earn the displeasure of Allah. The clearest way to see this point is to consider these people were the examples sent for humanity to follow, and thus, if they committed errors now from sin to errors, mistakes, in other words, if they committed errors, then people would be obliged to follow their errors, thereby rendering the prophets and messengers unreliable. What is said about the hypocrites? They keep changing their words. They keep going back against their words. Infallibility means protection. Surah Jinn ayat. Infallibility is essential for the prophets and messengers because their job is not only to convey the divine scripture of Allah, but also to lead and guide humanity towards the right path. Therefore, they must be role models and perfect examples for all mankind of what they teach and what they convey. Both the noble Quran and conventional wisdom illustrate this point. The noble Quran mentions infallibility 13 times. Allah says to Satan, "Certainly you shall have no authority over my servants except those who follow you and go astray." Satan thus replied to Allah, "By your might I will surely mislead all of them except your chosen servants among them, the messengers and the imams." There are some verses in the noble Quran which might imply that some of the prophets, such as Adam, Musa, or Yunus, committed sins. As for the prophet Adam, he did not disobey the obligatory commands of Allah. The command that he did not honor was a recommended one, not a mandatory one. That's for Adam only. And so, according to Islamic terminology, he did not commit a sin. When speaking about the disobedience of Prophet Adam, that's a different matter. The noble Quran does not mean disobedience in literal term. Their own. His guilt was that he did not demonstrate willpower, not that he violated Allah's rules. Then we come to Prophet Musa. They have a charge of crime against me. It was an accident, anyways. But you can read about this. Then it comes to the high standard of Prophet Muhammad. Where's for Prophet Muhammad? So just a little bit on that and infallibility of the prophets. And then Surah Jinn reminded me of. The prophet cannot afford to forget when he's preaching his laws and all this. He has to remember, he has to be fully God conscious. You are told to have taqwa. Be fully God conscious. Those who swerve, they are but fuel for hellfire. If you swerve from justice, if you swerve from the obedience to Allah and His Messenger, you have swerved from the right path. Now those who submit their wills, what is a Muslim who submits his will? You can't afford to keep forgetting. A prophet cannot afford this. See, so that we might try them through this bounty. Whoso turns away from the remembrance of his Lord, he will cause him to suffer a grievous chastisement. How can you forget? You can't now afford to forget. You have to be God conscious. Remembrance of his Lord. If you forget God, whosoever turns away from the remembrance of his Lord, he will cause him to suffer a grievous chastisement. And he revealed that the masjids are for Allah, so do not invoke with Allah anyone. And when the servant of Allah stood, oh God, he doesn't say, it is not in my power to cause you harm or to bring you to right conduct. Say, indeed, there will never protect me from Allah anyone, nor will I find in other than him a refuge. But I have for you only notification from Allah and his messengers, and whoever disobeys Allah and his messenger, then indeed for him is the fire of hell. They will abide therein forever. The disbelievers continue until when they see that which they are promised, then they will know who is weaker in helpers and less in number. What does the Prophet forget? He cannot afford to forget that if he's God conscious. He should be God conscious. The believers are asked to be God conscious. Whoever turns away from the remembrance of his Lord will have a grievous chastisement. Not for 1 second even should a prophet turn away then from the remembrance of his Lord. No, he cannot afford it, because there's a grievous chastisement for those who turn away from the remembrance of the Lord. They shall not change their way until they see that against which they have been warned, when they will, okay? Say, I do not know if what you are promised is near. He is knower of the unseen to anyone, except those he has approved of messengers, and indeed he sends before him, behind him, observers. He appoints guards who go before him and behind him, other than to a messenger whom he chooses, that he may know, i.e. Muhammad may know, that they have conveyed the messages of their Lord. They can't afford to forget. Surah Jinn ayat 28. And he has encompassed whatever is with them, and has enumerated all things in number. If he forgets like this, then how can we even trust that if he forgets, oh God, I forgot that ayat today. He can't forget. Can't afford to do this. Allah has put guards here. How can he afford to forget? Except a messenger whom he has chosen, and then he makes a band of watchers march before him and behind him. He cannot afford. Very clear. How can he? It's guarded, the messages and all this. He's reminded. Right? If he keeps forgetting, how can you trust him? Then you can't even trust what God has said in this ayat. Except whom he has approved of a messenger, and indeed he makes to march from before him and from behind him a guard. Rasada. Rasada. A guard. Where did this guard go? Huh? You know, in Surah Tariq, every soul has a guard over him, protecting him. How can we even go wrong? How can the soul go wrong? Then they make all these interpretations and tafsirs and explanations of that ayat in Surah Tariq. You mean this guard was knocked off? Prophet forgot the message. And what are these guard, observers, guards? That he may know that they have conveyed the messages of their Lord. How could he afford to forget? Even for 1 second. You have not read this ayat? 28 of Surah Jinn? And he has encompassed whatever is with them and has enumerated all things in number. Of the Lord, and he has encompassed what is with them, and he takes account of all things in number. Takes account of all things in number. No, the Prophet cannot forget. It's not a minor thing. This message is heavy, weighty. And it's got guards and all this on top. Sent on the messenger, that he conveys the message properly, not forgetting. And he's numbered everything in he has encompassed. He takes account. And he has encompassed. Do you know what encompass it means? They have to be this protected, fully protected from left, right, center. They cannot forget. Who does shaitan make forget? Huh? Not Prophet Muhammad. But according to Surah Jinn ayat also, 27 and 28, I think. 28 or 29. I mean, you can't forget, the Prophet can't forget, you can forget. And forgetfulness is from shaitan. This means if the Prophet forgets, the shaitan has gained the mastery over them, so he has made them forget the remembrance of Allah. Surah 58, ayat 19. Surah Mujadila, ayat 19. Satan has overcome them and made them forget the remembrance of Allah. What does Satan make them forget? This, the remembrance of Allah. Also, right? This also. The command, everything that is here. No, the Prophet cannot afford to forget. Has overcome them, the shaitan. So he made them forget the remembrance of Allah. Those are the party of the shaitan. Very strict and very severe. And very direct. The prophet forget because it is of the human nature to forget. No, what is the highest human nature? This forgetfulness in human nature is from Shaitan. And what do they forget? Satan has overcome them then. You mean to say, M16, that Shaitan has overcome the Prophet? And made them forget the remembrance of Allah. Made him forget the remembrance of Allah. Of Allah. Remembrance of Allah, those are the party of Shaitan. No doubt, indeed, the party of Shaitan, they are the losers, khasireen or khasirun. Oh my God. I'm so sad to see all this. I feel like so sick in myself. This is so sad for me. M16. They took their false oaths as a cover, so they averted people from the way of Allah. Oh my God, this is what the Prophet did in Surah Tahrim, seeking to please his wives. This is about Prophet Muhammad, Surah Mujadala. I mean, if you, with the other ayat connected with Surah Tahrim, what he did in 1 and 2. Look, they have taken the oaths as a shield by means of which they hinder people from the way of Allah. There shall be a humiliating chastisement. Allah has prepared for them a severe penalty, evil indeed. What's this? Turnest thou not thy attention to those who turn in friendship to such as have the wrath of Allah upon them? They are neither of you nor of them, and they swear to falsehood knowingly. They swear to falsehood knowingly. Right? Turnest thou not thy sight towards those who were forbidden secret counsels, yet revert to that which they were forbidden? And they hold secret counsels among themselves for inequity and hostility. What did Prophet Muhammad confide to Hafsa? Surah Tahrim ayat. You know what he told her? About her father, against her father, Abu Bakr. No, sorry. Against her father, Omar. And so this poor lady was twice shocked by Prophet Muhammad. One thing is that he took Maria the Coptic in her bed, slept with her, sending her, saying, your parents are calling you. Or on the day that she left her house to go to her parents, when Umar must have called her or something like this, the Prophet took advantage of it and slept with Maria the Coptic in her bed, in Hafsa's bed, Hafsa's house. And then when maybe she didn't find, Umar was not there, her father, she came back early and she was like shocked. Another thing was telling her, he confided in her. What's the use of confiding in one wife and not the other wives? Right? secret counsel. And when they come to thee, they salute thee, not as Allah salutes thee, but in crooked ways. And they say to themselves, why does not Allah punish us for our words? Enough for them is hell. In it will they burn. Evil is their destination. So thank God, Hafsa was telling us something. And Surah Tahrim might tell us something. They were revealing something. Oh, you who have believed, very terrible about Prophet Muhammad. Oh, you who have believed, when you converse privately, do not converse about sin and aggression and disobedience to the messenger, but converse about righteousness and piety. And fear Allah, to whom you will be gathered. You know what that secret was that Prophet Muhammad confided? It wasn't about, righteousness and piety and all this. Believers, when you converse in secrecy, let that not be concerning sin and transgression and disobedience to the messenger. I read somewhere that this messenger, he confided in Hafsa against Umar bin Khattab. And maybe this is what happened on the Calamity of Thursday. So is my voice coming here? Testing. Is my voice coming here? Okay. Private conversation is only from Satan, that he may grieve those who have believed. Now here it says, private conversation is only, wait a minute, whispering is an act of Satan, one that aims at causing grief to the believers. Al-Mu'mineen. Yet without Allah's leave, no harm can be caused to them. So in Allah should the believers put all their trust. Hafsa, put all your trust in Allah. She knows. Oh, you have believed, when you are told, space yourselves in assemblies, then make space. Allah will make space for you. And when you are told, arise, then arise. Allah will raise those who have believed among you and those who are given knowledge by degrees. And Allah is aware of what you do. Oh, you have believed, when you wish to privately consult the messenger, present before your consultation a charity that is better for you and purer. But if you find not the means, then indeed Allah is forgiving and merciful. This is a good ayat. Have you feared to present before your consultation charities? Then when you do not, and Allah has given you, then at least establish prayer and give zakah and obey Allah and His Messenger, and Allah is aware what you do. You have to go and consult the messenger about matters. How can he forget? Have you not considered those who make allies of a people with whom Allah has become angry? They are neither of you nor of them. They swear to untruth while they know they are lying. Allah has prepared for them severe punishment. Evil is what they are doing. They took their false oaths as a cover. They took their oaths as a cover, so they averted people from the way of Allah. You see, you're right, what the messenger did, you would do the same. You see, some of you are saying, like M16 here, what's wrong in pleasing your wives? What's wrong in pleasing a wife? Your wife. Yes? You see, this is where the trap comes of Satan. This is very, very true. Why in Surah Tahrim? That's one. What's wrong in pleasing your wife? Now we come to this. They took their oaths as a cover, so they averted people from the way of Allah. And for them is a humiliating punishment. Some of you are now gone cases. misleaded, misled, misleaded. Oh my goodness. Excuse me. They have taken their oaths as a shield by means of which they hinder people from the way of Allah. See, some of you saying, what's wrong? Nothing is wrong in pleasing the wife, taking an oath, breaking a law of Allah. This is what Prophet Muhammad did. They have taken their oaths as a shield, by means of which they hinder people from the way of Allah. There shall be a humiliating chastisement. 17. Never will their wealth or their children avail them against Allah at all. Those are the companions of the fire, they will abide therein eternally. One day will Allah raise them all up. Then will they swear to Him as they swear to you. And they think that they have something to stand upon. No, indeed, they are but liars that I'm exposing. Perhaps no one can expose like I'm exposing here, thanks to that one great God. Otherwise, that polytheist God, that Lord of the Kaaba, the true Lord, which Prophet Muhammad broke into pieces, idols. It's a miracle that I'm alive today. Satan has overcome them and made them forget the remembrance of Allah. You see where Prophet Muhammad forgot Allah. He forgot to please Allah. He went pleasing his wives. Surah Tahrim ayat 1 and 2. But then he covered himself up. Allah has protected your oaths and what? I could see it. The Prophet forget because it is of the human nature to forget. No, you can't compare that low human nature to this. You see the ayats against those who forget the remembrance of Allah, pleasing Allah, being God conscious. Those are the party of Satan. I have proved it today, again, before also, but this time you made me come back to these verses. M16, and I've proven now through the Quran ayats that Prophet Muhammad is the party of Satan, not Hizbullah. They will be the losers. He is swearer, liar, contemptible swearer. He's wrongly, what do you call that? Secrets, counseling with a wife. Umar's daughter. And most of all of, not even most, Allah says here, and he's gone case, he forgets. Satan has overcome him, made him forget the remembrance of Allah. Bas. Surah Tahrim, we are told, he forgets. He forgot to please Allah. Rather broke a law, rule of Allah, and pleasing his wives, to please his wives. Today, this true Allah has overcome. Allah has decreed, it is I. and my true messengers who must prevail. Oh, those messengers of Yathrib, truth. Oh, those messengers of Makkah, polytheists. Oh, Abu Jahl, today we have won. Who must prevail, for Allah is one full of strength, able to enforce His will. Right? Okay, enough of my emotional drama here, but I really feel it. Okay, sorry about that if my voice was raised or something. Please forgive me. M16, from my part, anything bad, any raising of voice, or from my part, because it hurts me, and it's a struggle also, but I want to teach in a patient manner and I can't. And because knowledge should be, I can't remember this frustration, Moulin Rouge, if you've seen. No, you wouldn't have seen, you're a religious person. Moulin Rouge, the movie. Sometimes disabled or challenged physically, mentally, we get frustrated, and then the anger and the hurt is even more, and the wound, my wound is not healing. My wounds are not healing. So I get very this thing. And to see how, a Muslim fell, if I was a Shia, you would have, maybe 5 days I would have gone into depression. But here I have this Lord who brings joy into my heart, although there's depression, sadness. Shivoham, Shivoham, Narayan, they help me. Whoever they are, I thank them. Whatever it is, at least it's helping me. I don't know Hinduism much, but I know this much, that they are here, the gurus are here, I'm connected with them. A lot of support is here, I'm much grateful for that to them. Supported them, spirit from Him. You will not find people who believe in Allah in the last day having affection. This, Surah Mujadila, is it 22? Yeah, this is Surah Mujadila 22. So enough, M16, please. Now that I've shown you my heart at least a little bit, please go back. Go through, be honest with yourself. Don't be in denial. I don't know what makes me want to cry or get angry or... Oh, it doesn't hurt. Ooh. Okay, it's maybe I'm in a lot of pain or shock. Slap myself or something. What? Oh, okay. Well, my ears are hurting now with the headphone on. Okay, I need to go. M16, anything else? Sorry, I wish I was more patient, more nicely telling you, gently. But sorry, I couldn't. I apologize for that. So you can even, if you can go to English, you can ask someone like, what's his name? There's Haris Sultan, there's Nuria Khan. There are many ex-Muslims, right? You can even go to them. There's Ghalib Kamal. There's Sahil, who will have a lot of patience with you and patiently and nicely tell you, explain it to you. There's Yasmin. There are many. There's an Egyptian also, Egyptian ex-Christian, but he does this. If he comes live, but I've seen mostly the Pakistanis coming live. They will help you. There's another one, Salatin, if you know Urdu, and many others. Sorry if I'm missing their names. And there's Abdullah Samir also, Abdullah Samir. There's others. So I'm slow, limited. I have to search, think. But they are fast. They are very good. In other words, also in other eyes, they might show you. Go to Christian Prince. Just keep quiet and listen to a little bit. It's information, but you won't, because you see the way you're coming here, the way you've come here, made me kind of Allah. How can I help you? Show you that look, this is not. It's it's not you. It's all what the illogical and all this. The things you told me. It's even against Quran ayats. So please stick to the Quran ayats ways, and not your opinions, because you're doing a great injustice. There's a lot at stake. Apostates, family members are giving apostates a hard time. You can't even tell your family members. At times you can't trust anyone. I wouldn't even trust my own shadow. This Islam makes you so stern against apostates that a parent can stab her child to death behind. One night get away. We don't know who can do it, really. Taxi drivers here can do it. If I go, and we can't trust anyone. Because this religion, it's given you the duty to protect the Prophet, help the Prophet. And war. They've called this kind of a thing like we are warring against Allah and His Messenger. Who is showing you, they're not even telling you, commanding, they're showing you. And what is at stake and how unjustified the ayats of polytheists, Kitab, people of the book and all. Surah Hashr, it's breaking of homes and all this. Surah Tawbah, it's a killing of polytheists. Like they're toys. Surah Azab, massacre of hypocrites, so-called. 60 to 61, complete massacring. Capture them and kill them. No, please. They can have this freedom of speech and talk as much as they like against the messenger. And then saying Huwai, the Jew from the Yathrib Jew. I mean, what? Recognized him, but wouldn't. He said enmity. I feel enmity against him. You see what kind of injustice he's done. And it's Allah. Using Allah, this Allah. So please come to, I hope you see this. You go through it, do your own research, and I hope you see it for the sake of those in the past and even now and in the future, that never would we do this. Never. Never would we do this. We have terrorists. We have these people. Like one woman who came for my health, I couldn't trust. She told me she came with those days when I was in Karachi with my mother's ex-teacher, a school teacher, Mrs. Abadi, I think, Urdu teacher. They'd start to come in your middle of your tooth or something like this. And she said this lady came with the full, like, covered, and I was like, maybe she's Taliban or something, God help my mother's teacher, God knows who. Because my mother's teacher, I think, was a Shia. Yeah, she was a Shia. Oh my God. So she came and she said, you have to, these Shia religious scholars cannot help you. They don't know much about spirituality. So you need to go to a, like a healer in the mountain somewhere, a spiritualist. And I know someone in Sargoda. And she was going to take me to Sargoda. I refused. No way. I was so desperate. It was like around year 2009, somewhere, 10. You know what I mean? In Karachi. And she looked like a, so, like go to Sargoda, Punjab. Oh. And she's told me, yes, a Punjabi man is after you. And then she's told me to come to Sargoda. They will take me to Sargoda. And you know who is in Sargoda? Famous people. I would blindly go to Himalaya, but never Sargoda, Pakistan. Wikipedia. What if she takes me to one of these terrorists, Lashkar-e-Tayyiba, she had taken me, and they would have, like they killed Daniel Pearl. Where are the famous people? Beheaded me, butchered me. Because on Facebook I was saying, it could be one of these people there saying this and that against Shias. Voices were coming. So she thought that I was that stupid in that lot of desperation. I would go to Sargoda. I mean, I would have gone to this Christian man, but never this, oh my God, Jamaatul Dawa. Yeah, this lady didn't seem like a Shia. She seemed like she had come from this side. It's a Pakistani Islamist who co-founded Lashkar-e-Tayyiba. They hate Shias. They kill Shias. Right? Baba, I would go blindfold to Himalaya mountain, to a Indian Himalaya guru there. Look at this, what they have done. These people. My goodness. You should be, what is this? They hate Hindus. Okay, I will talk about this later. My strength has now, I'm very tired. Has left me now. I have to go. Thank you for the like so much. Thank you, M16. God bless you and make you see the light. And just have a nice time. Just, have a wonderful time. Be light. Do something like play, have a nice, like Khalil Gibran said, God is playing with you. God is in the trees waving and all this light. Be light. Just, God is everywhere. God, well, I don't know. Right now I'm on the atheist side, that God is everywhere or not, but just, hope you have a nice time out of this. If you need to do something religious, if you can afford, go out. If your health allows you, like put a smile on a child's face, whether they're Hindu. Give charity to Hindu. There's so much poverty there. Not only Muslims, right? Help out anyone for humanity's sake, if you like to do that. Thank you so much. I will come back later.